Welcome to the channel, Gaming Army. With every drop in MechWarrior Online, it opens the door for mistakes to be made. It can be anything like positioning and timing, all the way up to target and possibly even weapon selection. In this video, we will look over the next 2 drops, pointing out the mistakes so you can save time and learn from ours. For this video, I'm in a Dervish. It is a Dervish 7D outfitted with 2 medium lasers, 6 SRM-4s, jump jets, and a top speed of 81 kph. Our first drop is a conquest match on Tourmaline Desert, and our first mistake of the drop is, if you look at the minimap, the team is more spread than a puddle of self-leveling floor compound. We are all over the place. Another thing you might have noticed looking at the minimap, there are 2 teammates in Delta 7. I'm assuming they are long-range weapon sniper type builds, but what you have to remember on this map and in this game mode is there's going to be a bigger fight centered around Theta. And on this map, that means Gulf 5, Gulf 6 high ground is going to give you better firing lines onto Theta and possibly the enemy position, as opposed to that right-hand side of the board. Another thing you might not have noticed is neither the Hunchback or the Uzil that I am fighting with have deployed a UAV or used their comms. I think there was the Marauder from earlier is on the other side of me with maybe one friend, but once I pop a UAV, I notice there is a lot more on the other side of that rock formation than just 1 or 2 enemy mechs. And compounding my troubles is I am so focused on this enemy formation on the other side of the wall is I failed to notice an enemy unit coming up behind us through box 5. Now, all the clues pointed to the fact that the enemy was going to be heavy in the 4-5 lines, but I didn't read the clues in time. I stayed too long at box 5. Now I'm caught up in a pincer movement as I tried to rotate back around, not realizing there were more enemy units coming in from the right. As my mech gets shot out from under me ending my drop, that brings up the issue of poor firing groups on my part that led to overheat issues. Now, SRM burst damage is fine, but you should use it occasionally as an alpha, not as a regular thing. I really should have had the missiles on chain fire. And we won't even talk about override. So switching over to our teammate, the Eben Jag, not quite sure what this is. I don't know if he's a long-range platform. If so, he's under-weaponized with a single large laser. And if he's going for all of those medium pulse brawling builds, he's a little far back from the action on that one. Now, despite everything that we've said in the video thus far, this match is still very close. We're tied on kills, we're within striking distance as far as capture points go, so this just goes to show you, you will make mistakes in the drops. Don't hang your heads too soon, because some mistakes are forgivable. In fact, a litany of mistakes can be forgivable. So sticking with the rest of my team on this one to see what we're going to get ourselves into on this barn burner. We're with our Arctic Wolf, who has found a Marauder and he's firing his streaks, and he gets hung up on terrain because he was looking left and running straight ahead. That is a common mistake. I do it myself all the time. So just be prepared to make those kinds of mistakes. It's hard to take in the topography, even though you know the maps, when you're thick in the fight.
New target acquired.
So the Arctic Wolf recovers nicely and then goes after a Crusader who looks like he is one touch. Now, there's something to keep in mind. You know you want to do that little chip damage on that red CT and take that unit off the board, but you have to remember, streaks, while they track their target, they have a very flat firing trajectory, and as the Crusader dove back into cover, the missiles struck harmlessly on the rock. Looks like the enemy flea is going to live to fight another day. He is heavily damaged, but the Arctic Wolf is out of ammo, so he is going to run back to the rest of his teammates and get himself into some cover. Switching over to the Spider, they are now ganging up on the flea. and the flea is now legged with a nice one-touch CT, and he can't quite get it done. He's at the wrong angle. He either needed to aim slightly to the left a little bit more, trying to get that CT hitbox registry, or he needed to reposition his mech a little further to the left. That kill could have happened a lot quicker. Keep in mind, you can also do damage to an already destroyed component. Now, the caveat is very little damage transfers if you're shooting dead components, but you will transfer a little bit of damage, and if they are damaged enough, that might have been enough to go through. Don't know, but that's just another little tip that I will throw out there. Moving on, we find ourselves face to face with an Arctic cheetah, and he is open right leg. Again, you should be aiming for not only the right leg to sweep that right leg, but anytime you come up against lights, always focus the legs. Once you take down mobility on any light mech, it makes them a sitting duck and very easy to mop them up. Checking the score, we're tied again at 9 apiece, and that score is a bit deceiving because the only true mobile intact mech left is the Ebon Jag. You have the Arctic Wolf with no ammo, and the Nightjar has been legged and probably is not long for this world. Now, they've done a great job, though, of counter-capping and getting us back in the game as far as the cap points are concerned, but I think the enemy has the upper hand as far as intact firing mechs, like, I don't know, a Hunchback 2C with dual Ultra AC-20s. Our Ebon Jag is looking for that damaged Vapor Eagle, but I think that ship has already sailed, so now he's going to swing back around to the Hunchback. Now, right about here, he probably could have paused and waited before cresting the hill. I am so guilty of doing this myself. I do it all the time because it's constantly drilled into you that aggression wins matches, and that is true. However, there are some times where a strategic pause of 3 to 5 seconds will open up better avenues of attack for you. In that case, the Hunchback probably would have kept moving, and then as the Ebon Jag swung around, might have been in his back. Elsewhere on the battlefield, the Nightjar has managed to take out the damaged Vapor Eagle, and our Arctic Wolf is going full cap mode. And you can help us win this match. Simply click the like and subscribe buttons. In fact, the more you click the like and subscribe buttons, the greater our chance of victory is in this drop. Just kidding. But hit the like and subscribe buttons anyway. So, the Arctic Wolf is getting the capture point, and it looks like the Hunchback has found the Nightjar, and now the duel begins. Hunchy has lost his right side, but he manages to leg the Nightjar, leaving last man standing, the Arctic Wolf, with no ammo. And while he has done an admirable job of keeping us in the hunt with cap points and making this an absolute barn burner of a finish, but the enemy pulls off a cap victory by the skin of their teeth. We still finish this drop out with 8 assists, 3 KMDDs, 550 damage done. Moving on to our next drop. This one's got us playing skirmish mode on Grim Plexus and not wanting to repeat mistakes of the past, like the last drop. You'll notice in the bottom right hand of the screen, I have switched the SRMs over to Chainfire. I still have the option of Alpha Strikes if I need them, but this will be a cooler method of getting my SRMs out. Now, another important thing to point out is on this map, in this mode, your initial drop point determines which side you're going to push. Typically, you're going to push Hotel Golf lines or Echo Foxtrot lines. I held up in the beginning at Hotel 7, waiting for my friendly assaults to come forward. They never did. They stalled out in Hotel 5. That gives me only 2 choices. One is to circle back and wait with the assault mechs, hoping they get into Hotel 6 so that I have cover and that the enemy pushes to come into my weapons range, or I need to strike out on my own and locate an enemy target to put into weapons range, which is exactly what I did because my patience kind of ran out. So that's a mistake on my part, is not being patient enough. But I did manage to find a Mad Cat Mark II, and he is out of position, tail end Charlie. He does have a little support fire coming from the hilltop, but I also have support moving in. The mistake here is in my read of the situation. The Mad Cat Mark II is as far out of position as I thought he was. There's the rest of the enemy team in the Box 7 low ground. And now I'm stuck on a teammate. We get tangled up there as he came up behind me, and yet another minor mistake made. But guys, I can't stress that enough. Please don't stand behind your teammates, because you never know when they need to move back out of the line of fire. I break off to the right-hand side. I'm trying to scout now that I know the rest of the enemy team is over here. I'm going to get my second arty strikeout on the enemy position, and the Mad Cat Mark II is coming back for more. And here's where I make another critical mistake. This one is getting a little too trigger happy, even though I have separated out my SRMs into chain fire. I got a little overzealous on the alpha strikes, and I'm going to overheat myself. But the worst mistake of the entire video has been going on in the background. If you've been listening to it, my teammates are angry, frustrated, and dare I say a bit salty, and they have forgotten the most important part is the fact that this is a game, and games are meant to be fun. Bringing this drop to a close, we managed to finish with 564 damage done.